So I wanted to look smart or cool today, and I put my glasses on. So what did I want to talk about? So I wanted to talk about ADHD. How I healed my ADHD, which might sound crazy. So first, I want to begin with I was formally diagnosed. I went in, I took the test. I think it's called like the EEG or something like that, where they have like the nodes on your head. I did the little computer test or whatever it was, and then I got diagnosed. I had decided to get diagnosed because honestly, it was starting to get in the way of my ability to work. I had never lost a job or anything like that, but I was finding it very difficult to keep up, and just like making tiny little mistakes that to me felt like really big mistakes, because I wasn't accustomed to just messing up like that. And it was just such, I don't know, it was little things, like now that I think back, but at the time it felt so big. What started happening is I would get up at 7 and try to get all of my work done before 12. And I did. Like, majority of days I did. And I absolutely needed coffee. So I used to drink coffee every morning because there was no way I was getting through this without it. And I would just sit there and just like bang out everything, because that was the only way I was doing any work. After 12 o'clock, I don't know what happened. It's just like, I was like, it was just a crash. And, I could drink more coffee or something like that, but it wasn't exactly like I was feeling tired, like physically. It was mentally. It's like my brain just crashed. And I was like, this isn't right. What's going on? I was getting afraid that I might lose my job, because I was struggling so much for me that I was like, oh my God. And I felt like people were used to, the quality of work and the output that I was doing. And for me, I felt it dropping. It was very noticeable for me. So I felt like it might be noticeable for, my coworkers and my managers and stuff. So I went and got diagnosed because I just wanted a confirmation. For one, so I could know if this was the issue. And then two, okay, if this is the issue, what can I do? Like, my doctor told me there was only 2 routes, like medication, or they were working on like some experimental, like, listen to these waves. I don't know what the waves were, but I did it. I bought speakers and I put them to both sides of my head, and like I had this head wrap that kept them in place, and I listened to that like while I was doing my work, when I was doing nothing, because they said it could help. I was just desperate. I was juggling on one foot because they said that could help, which was actually quite a struggle, but it was fun. So I actually liked that. I was looking up ADHD tips and tricks. Like, I was just looking through an old notebook of mine, and I saw like all the little tips I was writing down, because I remember looking at YouTube videos, what other people were doing, and none of it was working. I was just declining more. And so I was like, okay, I guess I don't know what else to do. So I went and got medicated. I was like, hook me up. No, I was really upset about it. I really didn't want to be on it. I went on the lowest dose. I felt like I was on meth, because that's what that is. So that's what it felt like. And I know, like, when I would take it, I would start sweating. I had these, my lymph nodes and my armpits were swelling, so they were hurting. So it's like I'm sweating, my lymph nodes are swelling. My mouth was dry, and like I was hyper focused though, like hyper. I got shit done, and that was great and all, but like that's not really what I was looking for. Like, I wanted my ADHD symptoms. Can I even say that? My ADHD symptoms to go away. I didn't want new symptoms in place of the old. And I didn't experience any, like, some people, I guess, got like crashes. I didn't experience any of that, and it's probably because of how low I kept the dose. And I tried to only take it on the days I worked, so Monday through Thursday. I didn't take it otherwise. Yeah, I really didn't need it outside of work. So yeah, that was that was my experience, and my short-lived time with ADHD. And I was on Adderall, so I had all these symptoms. As soon as the pill was gone and over with, the symptoms were back. So I was like, this isn't it. So what led me here to healing my ADHD was actually my dog passing away on Christmas Eve, which sounds kind of sad, and it was at the time. You know, we had him for like 14, 15 years he was with us. But in order to take my mind off of things, I went to the library, and I had a list of books that I was going to look into, like the China study and some other books. I don't even remember what they were, just because I was trying to figure out health. And I had been to doctors, and I felt like they weren't helping me. Every time I went, they didn't know. All they wanted to do was put me on medication. I didn't want to be on medication. Like, I had been taught that that's bad, because it could be good or bad depending on your perspective. But the medication harms the physical body, the organs. Yes, it can help with your disease or mental illness, whatever it is, short term, and not even at the root cause. It can help some of the symptoms, but it doesn't get at the root cause, and you're damaging your body. But back to the library. I went to that section of the library, and I was picking up books. I picked up that thick ass China study book, and I was like, whoa, I don't know if I'm really finna read this. Like I would need the Adderall to read that thick thing. And then I see another book, and it's called it's Medical Medium, and I pull it out because I was like, there was a bunch of them there, so I was like, let me just see what this one's talking about. I didn't see this online, and I pull it out, and on the back it says how to heal chronic illnesses or something like that. We got a bookshelf. The book's over there now, but it had ADHD on the back. And I was like, oh, maybe this book has something, because everybody's acting like they don't know why we had this. Like, it's a big mystery. I open up the book, and right away, the author is saying that ADHD, and it had autism lumped into there too. So it was saying ADHD is due to heavy metals, specifically a combination of mercury and aluminum. And it was saying that autism is just, I don't know if it was like a greater amount of mercury or aluminum, but basically it had more. So it was just saying that autism, in my own words, is a worsening metal infection of aluminum and mercury. So I was like, oh, cool. And then I saw that the book was saying that it had protocols for how to get rid of it. And I was like, dope. I checked it out. I didn't read much further than that. And then I closed the book, and I went home. And then I opened it up to read it later, because I was like, let me start from the beginning. And then he was like, hi, my name is Anthony Williams, and I get my information from Spirit of Compassion. And at the time, I was not open. I was not spiritual whatsoever. I called myself spiritual, but I never realized I wasn't spiritual. I was basically an atheist. I didn't really believe in anything. My whole philosophy was, I can't prove it's real, and I can't prove it's not. that was my thoughts. But y'all, I was so desperate, and as I was flipping through the book and I was looking at the protocols, I saw everything there listed was natural. It was like natural supplements, things that most people take, anyways on a daily, and fruits or vegetables, or like sea vegetables or something. So I was like, you know what? I'm desperate. I don't like this medication. It has too many symptoms. Let me go for it. So that's when I went on the ADHD protocol. I didn't do everything because I don't know. There's like 20 things listed under there. I don't even remember what. And that's just like that was expensive, and I didn't even believe it yet. So we just went a little in. I remember the first thing we did was we got some celery. It was like 16 ounces. Man, I took a sip and I was like, this is the nastiest shit I've ever had. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I was like, maybe I'll start somewhere else. So we started doing the liver rescue smoothie first, and that's just wild blueberries, bananas, and it's like some red stuff. I'm blinking. We have some in the fridge. I gotta see. Oh, okay, it's dragon fruit. So, so it was those three. It was those three fruits, and you did 2 cups of wild blueberries, 2 bananas, and one of those frozen packets of the dragon fruit. And we were doing that, and I was like, man, this is so good. Like, I loved it. It was my favorite smoothie for that whole year, like for the rest of the year into the next year. Like I was having that or the heavy metal detox smoothie every other day, like one or the other. I would have every day, every morning. It was the smoothie for breakfast. And just from that, having the liver rescue smoothie, I was like, hold on, I'm feeling great. Like, let me open up this book and let me see what he had to say. Yeah, he was saying how eggs feed viruses, gluten feeds viruses, dairy, corn, how there's heavy metals in a lot of the processed foods. And he was just going in, like, just spreading truths. And a lot of it I was in denial about because I was eating those things. I was like, there's no way. I've been eating this since I was little, like fish. Like, fish is very big in Maryland, I feel like, especially like I grew up close to the Chesapeake Bay. So, we're eating crabs, crab legs, shrimp, like catfish, whitening, like just all sorts of things. So, like, so I was like, no way. And then, I'm reflecting on experiences I've had in my life. Like, one time I went to go get, I think it was an MRI, and they put contrast. And after my MRI, I went to the grocery store because I felt fine. And then next thing you know, I was struggling to breathe. I was passing out in the grocery store. I was falling with my groceries, and they had to call an ambulance, and they EpiPenned me, and boom, I'm like back. That EpiPen hurt, bro. That EpiPen hurt. But I thought about that, and I thought about an incident too as a child where I had crabs for the first time. And it was like much like this situation where I just had to go to the hospital. Like, I was struggling to breathe and all sorts of issues. And I thought I was allergic to shellfish. And so I didn't eat it from when I was a child I don't know when I started to test it out again, but I was like, am I really allergic? Like, this may sound silly, but this is how I was. I just tested everything. So I started eating shellfish again, and I noticed there was no issue. So I was like, oh, I'm not allergic to shellfish. And having reflected back on that, I'm now realizing, or what my theory is, because I don't know for sure, right? But what my theory is that there was a high dose of heavy metals, in that fish as a child that I wasn't able to handle. Like, my body was still growing, and it needed some help. Like, I just couldn't handle it. And so it took a toll. And the same thing when I got an MRI done, I just couldn't handle that amount of contrast. And they asked before, like, do you have any shellfish allergies? And I used to say yes, but after eating it for years again, I said no. So I didn't think there was going to be an issue. I was mistaken. So after having the smoothies and feeling so good, I was like, let me revisit these things. So we brought back out the celery. we went in. We got a juicer. We got the juicer that Anthony Williams suggested because we were newbies. We didn't juice, and we were only getting it for celery. So we started including celery, and it was disgusting, and it had us shitting our brains out. But same thing with the liver rescue smoothie and the heavy metal detox. So we started to include all three of those on a daily basis, if not daily, at least every other day. That alone took away so many symptoms that I had thought was ADHD. I don't know what the doctors say. I don't remember, but you know, when you look up ADHD, there's just like a cluster of symptoms, but nobody knows where they're coming from, right? Everybody's like, I don't know why. It's hereditary, all that, you know, BS. But now after reading a lot, learning about health on my own, taking my health into my own hands, based on my knowledge, what I believe ADHD to be is a combination of adrenal fatigue, short attention span, trauma, and heavy metals, specifically mercury and aluminum. So after including those vegetables and fruits, I didn't really talk about vegetables. After including the herb and the fruits, we started to feel so much better. We were like, okay, let's cut out some other things. And by no means do we like cut everything out. We just, you know, Monday through Friday, we just tried to keep it like light. Like let's not eat baked goods like that. Let's find plant-based meals instead of, you know, I was having meat every night. Like I was eating horribly, really. I thought I was eating healthy, but I wasn't. I was ignorant. I was mistaken. And so we started to just switch little things out. Having more vegetables, eating less fat, having more fruit. So it was real simple. You know, I feel like the biggest factor was like just having less fat, honestly. Because again, I was having meat every night. Now, my short attention span, well, I feel like that was also hindered by, you know, the metals. But after they started to go away, I was like, okay, why am I still struggling? And honestly, that was just me not training my attention span. You know, we're on these apps, instant gratification things going on. So I started to meditate, and that greatly started to help my attention span. Now I still need some work, but honestly, if you have a short attention span, which I feel like is a part of, you know, the collection of symptoms in ADHD, meditation is going to be very helpful. I do feel like where I was at with my ADHD though, meditation was extremely difficult to do without also fixing my diet. I'm not sure if that would have been helpful if I had continued to eat the same. So I just want to put that out there. And trauma. So I had a lot of trauma, I guess. I'm still in denial, I'm not even gonna lie, but I was one of those kids getting my ass beat, like, you know, about like and all that other stuff. And that held a lot of trauma for me, and a lot of things happened with my family and my sister, and losing my grandmother, which she really was like my grandmother, my second mom. And so a lot of those things were accumulating, and just I wasn't working on them, and they were dragging me down. So a lot of those things that I thought were ADHD, I'm like, I don't know why I do this. Like, I don't know why I did. It was trauma, but it was so buried in my unconscious behavior that I didn't know. And I never stopped to reflect and like try to figure it out. I was just like, I don't know. This has always been like this as far as I know. So working on my trauma really, really helped with those things that I was classifying as ADHD. And then obviously I think the only thing that I haven't gone over is the heavy metals. That heavy metal detox smoothie by, you know, Spirit of Compassion, Anthony Williams, that was the biggest game changer. Like, I just can't even believe I was operating on that level before. I don't even know how I got up every day. And people, I felt like one of the reasons why I didn't want to get diagnosed is because people didn't see ADHD as like a real issue. That's what I felt like. It's like, oh, it's just ADHD. Now having healed a lot of those symptoms through my diet and lifestyle, thinking back, that is 100% a fucking disability. You are not operating at 100%. Like there's just no ifs, ands, or buts. If I ever were to just be thrown back, I would cry. Like, I don't ever want to go back there. Like that way of operating, man, it's night and day. It was here and I'm here now. I honestly, it makes me honestly really sad, because I know there's a lot of people that don't have this information or aren't open to this information, and so they'll continue to suffer with those symptoms. And it's, yeah, I don't like that part, which is part of the reason why I'm sharing how I ended up healing my ADHD. And I know I didn't get super specific, like this is what I did or whatever. I'm just sharing my journey. So if you have, specific questions, feel free to ask me in the comments. I'm friendly, I'll answer. But yeah, it's like, you don't have to suffer with that. You don't have to live the rest of your life with that. That's not normal, and we should stop normalizing it. A big reason, I went over the big reason why a lot of us even struggle with ADHD. Adrenal fatigue. We're not taking care of our bodies. We're not putting the resources in our body that it needs in order to work properly. I'm just gonna keep it there. Attention span. Meditate. Get off of social media. Stop scrolling. Put a limit on your apps and meditate. And you don't have to sit cross-legged and meditate. You can go do something meditative. Do the dishes. Do them in silence. Try to focus on what you're doing. Go for a walk. Put on some chakra music. Some healing vibrations. Whatever you want to do. Just get meditative. Go meditate. Trauma, y'all, stop ignoring this. Work on the trauma. Question, like, why are you doing that? What's going on? Why do I have this behavior? Why do I have this response? Because I really wish I would have done that sooner, but I didn't. Things just get so normalized. You're busy living your life and stop questioning. And then the mercury and aluminum. Stop messing with products with those in there. Like, I didn't know that, like the aluminum cans, I used to drink bubbly water or whatever it's called, like the sparkling flavored water. A lot of those waters have natural or artificial flavors in there. There's nothing natural about natural flavors. There's chemicals all in throughout there, and a lot of them contain heavy metals. And then on top of that, they're in a can. They're in an aluminum can, which you're drinking out of. Heavy metals. I was using aluminum to cook everything on. Like, there was just so many opportunities for heavy metals to get on me. I was using petroleum products. So I was doing Vaseline. I didn't know that was a byproduct of like heavy metals. And I was putting it on cuts and scars and like areas that I don't want heavy metals in, So just I guess if I have one piece of advice, start reading the ingredients of what you are putting on your body and what you are putting into your body. Like, read those ingredients. If you don't know what the hell the word says or means, look it up. And what I was doing was looking up, like, I don't know, citric acid. That's a common thing in a lot of the processed foods in the middle aisle. I don't even want to call them foods, really. It's just like processed edible items in the middle aisle. Citric acid was in a lot of them because it's a preservative. But when you look up the symptoms, so I'd be like citric acid symptoms, you would see all the symptoms that it would do to your stomach. And I'm like, what? Like, okay, why am I eating this? Why is it even in there? Shouldn't this, like, this is just tomato sauce. Shouldn't it just be tomatoes? But no, there was a lot of other ingredients in there. Reading the ingredients probably was like the thing that woke me up the most to why I was so sick. So yeah, that's one piece of advice I'll give, is to read the ingredients and just start to learn. The other would be to, if you haven't already, get the medical medium books. They help a lot. Just explaining things that, science just doesn't yet have the answers to. I'm also learning right now about muscles and the bones and just the body in general, like how it all works together and interacts, and about the immune system, so all the organs. And so yeah, just learn, become an expert. You don't need to go to college for 8 years and be in $200,000 of debt to know how to heal yourself. You can be your own doctor. Like, I know they try to say that you can't and, go see a professional, blah, blah, blah. But what did they do? They just learned all those things that are now free. Like in almost every library or on YouTube, there's so many opportunities to learn and teach yourself those same things that they paid thousands of dollars for. The only thing you might not get is, like your residency or something to go practice on a bunch of people. But you have yourself. Practice on you. Learn. Trial and error. That's how you come into truth, through your own experience. Okay, I'm done rambling. This video is long enough. Again, thanks for listening. Hopefully you found some value from this. As always, happy healing and much love.